This is the Conrad Alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
For 5 years, 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Telegram, Rumble, and Odyssey. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I am Toolman Tim. Today is March the 17th, 2023, and this is episode 274 of the Workshop Podcast. How the hell is everyone out there? Real quick, I'll get the announcements out of the way. Hey, Gunfighter Concealment, got you on here tonight. Good to see you. So, 3 quick announcements for you. Do not forget, if you're in the Camden, Tennessee area or within a day's drive, next weekend, March 25th and 26th, is the Self-Reliance Festival. $95 for the weekend. It is an investment in yourself, an investment in your future. You will make $95 worth of networking in the first hour there if you put your mind to it. It's an incredible event. You cannot come away from it without being motivated, inspired, and excited toward action. So, if you're going and you haven't booked your ticket yet, get online. What the hell are you waiting for? And check it out. selfreliancefestival.com. Patch of the month, number 2. I'm not going to show this month's patch yet. I've been getting a trickling of people who have said the patch has come in and they loved it. There was a special shiny surprise in each package for people, but I want to give everyone a taste of what they have missed over the last little bit. This was one of the first ones, built like a brick. And if you know what that is, that's a shit house next to it. The next one, how much is that in freedom units? Because everybody loves to bust me all about my Canadian roots. The next one right here, shoot, shovel, and shut up. This is one of my favorites. This was a saying by one of our premiers talking about mad cow and the mad cow disease, but we can take it to mean whatever we want. And finally, right there, in the spirit of Chris Dixon and the draconian laws toward moonshine in Canada, can I drink that fuel? And the answer is almost always a resounding yes. So patchofthemonth.co, $10 a month, $100 a year. You get one of those patches every single month, but really it's a way to support the workshop, the community we've built, and the content that I create. So thank you. And finally, the Telegram group. We always have spirited discussions over there. So if you are looking for the place to hang out where all the cool kids, or the people, the delinquents, as we are calling them, we're going to talk about that later on. Not tonight, but soon. So that's where all the delinquents from the workshop hang out, the kids that would be outside smoking in high school or hanging out in shop class, figuring out how to fix a vehicle. Grab the Telegram link from the description below. Come by and join us. We've been getting 1 or 2 new members every single day, just about to hit 200 members. But it's the type of place where you get motivated and you get a verbal kick to the ass with lots of love. So with that, let's dive right in. So who's this sexy lady next to me with the glasses on? She's going to be quiet. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good.
Good. Speak up. Can't hear you. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm good.
Had a good day?
Yeah. Long day.
You are on your way somewhere soon.
Yes, Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. So as of Sunday, I'm going to be a bachelor for 16 days. Just me, 7 female dogs, and a male dog, plus a couple of stupid cats. So it is what it is. Yeah, and tonight we have Angus in here with us. He is our youngest puppy, the only boy we have, and the one who will not leave me alone. He is a daddy's boy. So if you hear any weird noises, it's either me or the dog. So we got Aaron and Nate both in here tonight in Gunfighter Concealment. I'm pretty sure Robin's listening in the background, but I would love to, any of you guys who are in the comments, throw up, a one-word description of this week's episode. So what did you think, Mrs. Cook?
It wasn't too bad.
What was your overall impressions?
It was short.
It was short. It was like less than 45 minutes.
It was short, and like I said last episode, it was rushed.
It was rushed, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and say that the biggest downside to the issue of the whole show, and I love the show overall, I mean, probably the only episode that I would consider, I hate to even use the word rotten, but the lowest on the totem pole would definitely have been the mall episode, right? And Aaron says, apparently forgettable because I can't remember a ton. Don't feel bad because when I put the notes together, I was the same way. So, hey, there's my sister-in-law, Amy. And this is Angus Guy, since for those of you on the audio only, just picture the cutest ever Chihuahua puppy who is a boy in Superbad. But he just learned how to use the stairs, so he is now down here. And enough about the damn dogs. But yes, hey, Chris Dixon, he says, hey, delinquents, it's light out until 8 o'clock, so still cranking. Oh, yeah, and it is beautiful. I friggin' love it. And we are 3 days away from spring. Exactly. So if I go onto the Weather Network and look at the Weather Network 14-day forecast, it takes me to the end of my snow contracts. Not that anyone's counting. According to the weather, it looks like sunny and clear skies all the way through. We'll still get a dumping, but 14 days and I'm free again. So there we are. Hey, dude.
You won't stop licking.
That's okay. So yes, absolutely. The show was great. I loved it. You know, at one point, Joel goes full beast mode, which we will talk about here shortly. But let's get into our summary, our recap, and we'll see if I can jog your memory, Mrs. Cook. So the show starts out with another flashback. And I thought all the way through they've done flashbacks exceedingly well. And this was another good one.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of A Quiet Place, wasn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, you had, it opens. It's, so they start, actually, I got to remember now. I think I got that backwards, but she was running through the woods, but didn't they open with Joel and Ellie walking first in the woods? Or was it?
Yeah, no, they did. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because they
that's right. Yeah.
They've done something different with this episode with Joel's character. He was really chatty
and happy. It was almost too much, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
But I think it's because the connection they had in the last episode, I think it's kind of to the point where it sounded like he was an excited kid trying to make up for all the lost time he did with his daughter.
He's finally open to the idea of
and he sounds like he's trying to get caught up. And
I should throw this out here because I always forget. If you haven't watched the show yet, Gunfighter Concealment just says I haven't watched it yet, but spoilers don't bother me. And to be fair, this is almost a spoiler. How do you want to put it? A spoiler immune TV show, because the entire story has already been told through a video game and it was as faithful as you're ever going to find. But yes, I get it totally. So, all right.
So like, but it's like he was trying to catch up for lost time with his daughter. And the problem that I think what's happening is that he's starting, like, he knows it's Ellie, but I think he's trying to, like, he's treating her like she's Sarah.
Yeah, she's a surrogate daughter for him at this point. And which is, I get it. It is, I use that term a lot. It is what it is. But when it comes down to it, Joel's been a broken man and he hasn't even had a glimmer of happiness or light in his life for damn near 20 years. You know, I mean, he's basically spent his life picking up from the messes, or at least the way he looks at it, the messes that Tommy leaves for him. And so he finally, something broke in the man, and he's like, hey, I can actually let myself be a little bit happy.
But it was like, it wasn't a normal happy. It was a weird happy.
It felt a little bit like your meme.
Like he was like on LSD or whatever.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. That's what I thought. And I was wondering if it was his acting, because his here's going to be my guess.
No, but he was like giddy.
He was giddy. Yeah. And maybe it seemed off-putting because we have dealt with hard ass, broken, inward looking Joel the entire,
But even when you go back to the first episode with Sarah, he wasn't like that. So I think the problem with it is that, like, the way he carries himself, and the way the last couple episodes, like, he obviously has anxiety.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm thinking he's probably anxious.
Yes.
And that and plus he knows he lied to Ellie.
Yeah.
About the fireflies.
Well, that hasn't come up yet. That's at the very end.
No, but he remember when they were driving in the car?
Oh, yeah.
He knows he lied to her.
Sure.
So it's kind of like, when you lie to someone, so you're kind of like, blah 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 blah. So like that, so that they don't keep questioning. You know what I mean? So it's like he's controlling the whole conversation, not let and then he can tell that she's off, so he keeps talking
because the show opens with her off and it ends with her off, a little bit. And she's kind of broken up inside, which is
because I think she thinks that he lied.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from there, give me a second. You want to? Let's just let little Mr. Angus out, and then he can be gone.
Go.
There we go. Go ahead, Angus.
Go, buddy. Go.
There we are.
No,
all right.
He's not out.
Okay.
No, there he goes.
All right. So anybody on the audio, you'll know what happened. We let the dog out because this is our Friday night show, and the animals love to come in and join us. But now
it's
he's
the first
gone,
time he's
so.
been down the stairs.
Yes, he did really good. I'm proud of him. So, so once you figure out there's something off with Ellie, they talk about it a bit, and then they cut back to a lady running through the woods. Again, like I said, very reminiscent of The Quiet Place when the lead actress there, the British lady, John Krasinski's wife, Emily Blunt is pregnant, and she has to give birth in a bathtub with the aliens at the door. Mm-hmm. And in this case, they don't just make it through the door, but this lady is running through the woods. And you said it right away. You're like, she looks an awful lot like Ellie, didn't you?
Yeah, you kind of get that it's Ellie's mother. Right?
Yeah, it was. Of course, I miss those cues sometimes. I don't know why, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, well, shit.
But I think they had her made up to kind of look like her too.
Yes.
Right? So.
And for those who didn't know, that actress was the lady who did the voice of Ellie in the video game and also did the motion capture for Ellie in the video game.
And she's a child actress. She was a kid on one of the shows, and her voice was always really deep.
Yes, it was Growing Pains.
But and she always had that really weird voice, right?
But it's weird.
I knew I recognized her.
I looked her up, and where is it here? She was Chrissy Seaver on the Growing Pains.
That's who she was.
I don't remember Chrissy, but all the other kids had like credits of 140 some episodes. She only had 48 episodes. So,
because she didn't come till later in the show, I don't think.
That's
right?
weird. How did that happen? I don't even know how that happened. But yeah. So anyway, she was one of the daughters. She would have been Alan Thicke's daughter and Crazy Kirk Cameron's sister.
The one with the crazy
hold
hair.
that up so they can see it there. Yeah, that one. That's her. Yep. And you can see it in her face too. So so she played the voice. And so she's running. She runs into a cabin, tries to barricade the door. Her amniotic fluids start coming out.
Yeah.
Her water breaks. She lays down with her back to a wall. All she has is a knife. She's pushing the baby out. And was it a clicker? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a clicker.
Yeah.
It was a really fast one, another weird one.
Yeah, it was. And somebody said they were pretty sure in the notes I was reading that it was a fairly recently turned one.
Yeah, she was female. So maybe she was a part.
One of the Firefly. Oh, could have been.
Maybe she was with her. Right? So
that would explain why she was running from her too. If they were, because typically they don't just come across you anymore.
No, it was probably, she was probably with her. Maybe she was like a midwife or someone that was supposed to help her deliver the baby or something.
And as the story goes on, it was a pretty interesting way they showed it. But she's giving birth. You can see the baby pop out. You hear the baby cry. She's stabbing the clicker infected and kills it, and that's where you figure it ends. That's what we know at that moment. Then it flashes to some fireflies running around in the woods. Turns out that Marlene, if you remember Marlene, she was the lady that made the deal with Joel to get Ellie out of the quarantine zone or whatever you want to call it, Boston. She is there, and so they break into the building because they heard her screams. They go upstairs. She finds her there with a baby. She looks rather sickly.
Yeah.
And at that moment, she shows her hand or her wrist.
No, it was her thigh.
Her thigh.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it? I can't remember. Closer to the feet is the longer it takes to spread.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, she knew she got bit.
Oh yeah, because she was sickly too, right?
But the problem was she made it abundantly clear to Marlene that she was bit after she gave birth.
Totally lied.
But she lied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as you watch the show, so you don't see the bite, but what you do see is the act of her killing and incapacitating the clicker. Mm-hmm. So when the clicker's down, the baby's still laying on the ground, or at least partially laying there, but there has been no cutting of the umbilical cord. That's what it came down to. So maybe I don't know. I mean, do you think that's what caused the cure?
Yeah,
Or,
because because she, from the time that she got bit and actually killed the clicker, and then realizing she picked up Ellie and everything like that, and then by the time she cut the cord, it had because that went right to the bloodstream.
Sure.
So I'm thinking it just gave her enough that it wouldn't turn her.
So do you think, because there's kind of special, I'm going to sound, I don't know what the proper term is, but there's special nutrients, or there's something very special about what's transmitted through the umbilical cord, right?
Well, it's like bloodstreams and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? So it just kind of, I think, honestly, I think it would have to be a little bit longer, but I think they're implying that it went through the umbilical cord.
So I'm wondering if maybe only a bit of it went through the umbilical cord. So it was almost like she got a tiny bit of the disease, kind of like we've talked about this before, where people are gradually tested with allergens, so that so a little bit allows you to build a resistance to it. So I wonder if that's maybe what happened. But as we find out later on, it's in her spine and her brainstem.
Yeah.
So it's been there all along. It just never.
Well, it just never. See what it would. Her body would have adjusted to it,
right?
Because it wasn't enough to turn, but it was enough that her body could grow around it, type of thing.
That makes sense. So, almost like a parasitic twin,
kind of. And then as she got older, it would have got bigger, right?
Perhaps. Yeah. Okay, I can live with that. So then comes the hard part, and this kind of reminded me. Anyway, you guys know when you have to dispatch an animal one way or the other, whether it's for meat or because it's sick, either way, it's never an enjoyable process. I don't know if anybody else has done this, and maybe it's just me, but I have this ability, once it comes on, even though that you don't want to do it, you can switch something off in your brain so that you don't think, you just act. And I've done that a few times. And so this is what happened. Marlene talks to Anna. Anna is the character who plays Ellie's mom. And she says, "You've known me all along. You need to."
I think they've known each other since they were kids.
Oh, was that even then? Okay, I thought maybe it was just since the collapse had happened.
No, I think she was implying that they had known each other since they were younger.
Okay, that makes sense. And she said to Marlene, "Take the baby. The baby's fine. You need to shoot me or do me in." Because when they come in there, I didn't catch this till I read some reviews on it. Anna had a knife to her neck, like she was waiting. So
so that she started to turn, she could
do
kill
it.
herself.
Yeah. Could you? Oh, what an awful. It's a bad scenario, isn't it? So bad. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I missed that. Yeah. Aaron said that they'd known each other. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Wow. So continuing on, she says, "You need to shoot me." Marlene refuses. She hands the baby to her cohort in the Fireflies. And I thought it was kind of neat. She stops and thinks for a minute. She says, "Cover the baby's ears." Mm-hmm. And then she just steps in the room and shoots her it's that, that brain disconnect, the switch off that you have to do. And then they moved on, because that's been the theme of this show from day one, even though Randy Dinkovich over at Tilt Magazine doesn't love the fact that it's a broken world with no hope. The rest of us recognize it and understand that's the theme of the show. So, and we're going to deal with Mr. Dink again. Yeah. And then, so Aaron says, "And he didn't cover the baby's ears." No. I don't think he did. It's probably
because I don't think he understood. He's like,
well, how many fucking babies would you even see? Very few, right? I can't imagine do you think they were encouraging births in the quarantine zone? I wonder about that.
There was a lot of kids. You have to be able, reproduction's one of the important things, but honestly, in that type of situation, I wouldn't encourage it, because it's could be kind of like, War of the Worlds type of thing. Sure. Or World War Z. Yeah. Just the noise alone, the noise attracts them, and
kids are stupid. Look at The Quiet Place. I mean,
I wouldn't you want civilization to go on, but until you can rectify the problem, I wouldn't encourage it.
Something like Wyoming, right? Where they had where Tommy is, that would be a great place to attempt to rebuild.
But even then, you'd still be constantly worried about it, right?
But I've said this quote many times, but C.S. Lewis, the quote went around from him back in the 50s. he was teaching a university class, and one of the students asked him, how can I do anything in the day of the atomic bomb? Like I'm paralyzed from fear because I can be annihilated tomorrow, right? And he said, but think about all the villagers back in the medieval times when at any moment a Viking could land on their shore and decimate their community.
But they
right?
know these guys are already around.
Sure,
right?
but I mean, I guess when it comes down to it, it's probably our duty to continue the human race, I guess is what I'm probably getting at, right? Even though I get you, I totally do.
No, I think I don't know, maybe it was a controlled thing, right? I don't know,
because didn't they mention diapers or formula a couple different times?
But then you have to realize the fact that, like, I know, like, you can breastfeed, but then you got to realize about the fact that
most of the mothers
that's more mouths to feed,
right?
And in order for a mother to breastfeed, they have to have so many calories and so many, and
because if you're malnourished, your baby's going to be malnourished.
Exactly. And then it puts a strain on everything. Because then it puts a strain on what little bit of medications you have, what little bit of medical supplies you have. Then it puts a strain on food supplies. And I don't know. I really don't think it would be.
I get it.
It would be smart, right?
So so what do we do as humanity at that point? Do you just sit back and wait to die?
Well, that, or basically just wait a little while until civilization can somewhat get back on its feet. You know what I mean? Like, don't just go to a quarantine zone and then, like, a year later start spitting out babies. Like, you got to be able to rebuild and everything, right?
I'll give you that. Give you that. So we cut back to Joel and Ellie walking along. And he asked her to pull out that damn pun book again. I can't remember what the puns were, but he gave her something like a 0 out of 10, 3 out of 10. They were pretty shitty puns. So I won't make any dad jokes at this point. Not yet, anyway. But here's the cool thing. And again, Ellie's little kid shines through, kind of pisses me off once again, because she does the whole, holy crap, Joel, look at that. I'm going to go check it out. I don't have time to explain to you what it is, but I'm going to run off and holler at the top of my lungs. Because that's what kids in TV do, and it pisses me off. But
she's not really a kid, though.
No,
she's like 14, 15. Like...
But she's never, I know. Yeah, I know. I get it. But so the cool thing was we have the scene with the giraffe. Now, here's the thing, guys. I want to ask you guys, anybody who's listening, if you saw the giraffe, do you think the giraffe was real or CGI? I want to hear your answer before we talk about it a little bit. And while we're talking, Dragon Slayer says having a baby inspires people to work on bettering their situation.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. However, the flip side of that is...
play devil's advocate.
Right. The devil's advocate is...
Sometimes it doesn't really.
Yeah, the devil's advocate is having a baby doesn't fix a bad relationship either, right? So we've used
or
that
if
advice.
You're in a really shitty situation and you're stuck in a quarantine zone surrounded by clickers, and then all of a sudden you're spitting out a baby and you have to run with an infant and that infant is crying, and then it comes down to the point where, like, you're like hiding and you have to make the decision of whether or not that baby's going to cry and give you away and you both die. And you know what I mean? Like, they had that story referring to The Walking Dead, remember?
Which one?
It was when they went into the store there, and the mother had drowned the baby in the tub,
right? Because
he was given away their location, and it was either
so
they did that with the baby, or they were all going to die.
And that's right? The difference between humanity and animals, because every single time in the wild, a mother will sacrifice her baby to continue.
There's that little animal that actually throws them.
Right.
Yeah. I can't remember I think Amy knows what they are. They're like those cute little.
Right. But they all do it. And that is the cold-hearted practicality of the animal kingdom compared to us. And that is that is what would eventually be the downfall of humanity, would be, we got to protect the baby, and all of a sudden we all die. Right.
Exactly.
So, look at that. That's cool. Yeah. Man, you guys are awesome. So first off, Gunfighter says there's a lot of babies in Chicago, but they don't follow that philosophy. But this one's cool. I didn't know this. So Dragon Slayer says the Iroquois nation trained their babies not to cry. I did too. It was called duct tape. But no, I'm being an asshole. But that's cool. How would you?
Well, like, if you could train it, but if honestly at the time of training a baby while you're running from clickers and trying to survive,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but then again, to be fair, I mean, I can't imagine the Iroquois had it much better than they do now. You know,
flesh-eating monsters.
But
right?
every day was a day of survival, right?
I know.
So,
I like personally, I wouldn't. Yeah, Amy, there they are.
What is it?
The
quokkas?
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell's a
They're
quokka.
these cute little tiny animals, and they look like little stuffed animals, and they're so friggin'.
Okay, I'll bring one up. Just
Aren't
hang
they
on,
the
guys.
cutest little thing?
Yeah, we'll bring them up.
They actually throw their babies.
Oh,
I know it's so
sad.
sad, but because they're marsupial, and I don't think they're violent, right? So
look at that little jackass. So for anybody who can,
aren't those the cutest?
So they're
little things?
marsupials that carry their babies around in a pouch, and apparently they throw their babies to their death instead of dying themselves.
Exactly.
So,
well, because I think it's because they don't fight.
Okay,
right?
that makes
so
sense.
They don't know what to do. Like, is that not the cutest little thing? They
Yeah.
kind of look like little kangaroos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cold-blooded perpetrators of infanticide. Like, isn't that awful? So anyway, we're going to hide you now.
But
so.
no, but they do. They throw. I've read they throw the babies at
That's
the.
insane. So,
Yeah.
Aaron thinks CGI. When I watched the show live, like it was fucking broadcast. But anyway, when we watched it on the first time we watched it, I swore the draft was CGI.
I think it was real.
Things looked weird. So here's the deal. It was real. So they said it was one of the most complicated things they did for the show. They filmed it at the Calgary Zoo.
Okay.
So they had 3 there. They picked the one that's the most tame. Apparently, none of the giraffes were used to being fed by anybody but their trainers. So it took them about a month and a half to train the giraffes to get used to eating out of their hands, and they put a green screen behind the giraffes, and they gradually got it closer and closer to them over the span of a month and a half. And then they superimposed the background, and that's what made it look so jinky, because it did. It looked weird, and it's a shame because they had real giraffes.
Did they say what the name was?
Yeah. I'll find it for you here in a second.
Because they don't have very many in Calgary.
No, they've only got, I think, 3.
Didn't they just lose one too?
No, that was in. So that was in Vancouver. So I did a bunch of research actually to try to find out what was real and what wasn't. So let's see if we can find it here. Nabo, Nabo was the giraffe's name.
Okay.
So I also, since we're going down this road, in The Walking Dead, King Ezekiel had that tiger or whatever, right?
Sheba,
So, and I thought that was highly impractical. I also thought, what the hell are the chances that a giraffe would still be alive after all this time, right?
They're quite fast.
So they're fast. The average lifespan, because I had to look it up, is 25 to 30 years for a giraffe. So it's doable.
And do we know if these clickers go after animals?
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
A couple of the reviews I read said it implied that giraffes were immune to them, or they didn't bother them, because
Probably because they're silent, right?
Right? Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
However, giraffes do not like cold weather. They can die in cold weather if they are not fed enough.
Okay.
That's what happened to the giraffe at the Vancouver Zoo. Also, giraffes that are in the wild do not last more than 20 years. Okay. So if you call this the wild, that's really pushing the fact that these giraffes are alive.
Well, they had a baby with them too.
Oh, they did?
Yep.
Oh, I missed that. Well, then that changes everything. So,
they had,
okay.
I know I seen one baby. I don't think there was any more than one, but.
So Dragon Slayer, this is very much like Pavlov's dogs or whatever. They hung, so he said the Iroquois hung their babies in a tree and just allowed them to cry, but not bother the others around them. Once the babies realize they are held when they don't cry, they stop. I mean, that is the literal definition of letting the baby cry it out. That is genius. And it probably didn't take very long.
No. And we let the twins cry it out. We didn't hang them in a tree, but
we got an apple tree out there. We should try that. Maybe with the dogs, we'll hang them till they stop barking, but
they'll never stop. That's the problem.
That's pretty cool.
They'll just sit in the tree and they'll do their phantom swim.
We're swimming. Yeah. So they find a giraffe, which is cool. I love the animals that's been in this. They had the little chimps, and now they've had the.
But I haven't seen
giraffes.
any cats, dogs.
There were dogs. Yeah, the dog that sniffed up Ellie and everything.
Yeah, no, I mean like running around.
Wild packs. Yeah,
because like cats and dogs, like
they've probably been
like crazy.
Yeah,
right?
they probably. My guess is they probably hunted the dogs for meat.
I know, but like, well, I think they said a female cat could have like what 2-3 litters a year.
That's true.
So like you don't see any of those. So I wonder maybe if they did away with them or
I don't know. Well, and that's the thing, because was it The Walking Dead? Maybe not The Walking Dead, but there's been some post-apocalyptic shows that talk about animals and how certain ones were immune and certain ones weren't. And that might have been in a book I read.
Well, Dawn of the Dead, they didn't bother the dog.
No, they didn't. He just went down and walked right through, didn't he? So yeah.
That's
what I was thinking, Nate.
Yeah,
rabbits.
but you don't see any of them, right?
Because to be honest, the woods and the wild should be absolutely overrun with wildlife. So I don't know.
Well, you'd think, and plus, like giraffes and the zoo animals, like there would be nothing there stopping them from reproducing. So you think there would be all kinds of.
That's true.
Unless
they'd be mating like giraffes, whatever the hell that means. So from there, Joel looks at Ellie and he says, "Hey, we don't have to do this. I know we've traveled all the way across the country. I've killed innumerable people. But when it comes down to it, you and I can just go back to my brother's place and forget about it." And Ellie looks at him for a minute. She's like, "We can't do that." It's been however many months. We've come all this way. It's our mission. I need to go and see what I can do to help the people. And of course, that conversation sets up the ending that makes it all the more heartbreaking with Joel. And but from there, just make sure, I don't want to miss this. So as they're walking along, this I thought maybe was the best part of the episode. And it was the thing that broke me just a little bit. When Joel says, "Ellie, we need to talk for a minute." And he goes, "I need to tell you about the guy that missed when they shot at me." And, that was deep, because Joel's like, it was the day after I lost Sarah, the very next day. And I went out into the woods and I pointed a gun at my head and I pulled the trigger and I flinched and I nicked my ear. So it was me who missed. And Ellie says something to the extent of, "I'm glad you missed." And Joel's like, "Well, at this point, I'm glad I missed too." And it was cool, but I can totally see that, because like Joel said, he needs a mission in life. Everything he does has always been to, look after his brother, look after his significant other. I don't know if she was his girlfriend or whatever you want to call her. And now look after Ellie. And for a man who lost his daughter, probably figured at that moment he didn't have much of a will to live. Hey, babe? Yeah. Yeah. So it was, that was sad. It was neat. It was not something I seen coming. And the writing of this show all along has been, I thought, spot on. So it was neat. Just told him how he got the scar. And then soon after, somebody throws a flashbang grenade. They were walking through those cars. And I remember that scene from the video game. And I'm pretty sure they get held down with like suppressive fire. There's some guys up on cars or whatever shooting at them. But in this case, it's just a flashbang grenade. Hard cut, and Joel's waking up in a hospital bed.
He gets cracked in the back of the head with the butt of a gun, right? So.
I don't care. Every time I see that in a movie or a TV show, that just gives me the willies. Jesus, you could kill somebody easily doing that. I don't know. Anybody ever been hit in the back of the head with the butt of a rifle? Because that sounds like it would be a really bad scenario.
Yeah.
So Joel wakes up. Who's looking at him but good old Marlene? And you remember kind of what happens there, baby? She basically says Ellie's being prepped for surgery. She fills Joel in.
Well, and she lets him know that it's that basically they're going to kill her,
right? Because
it's in the middle of her brain.
She doesn't say it, but Joel figures it out pretty quick. Well, she implies it. Well, because that's what he said. He goes, "Well, it's in her brain," right?
And she doesn't say anything, and then that's when he realizes,
And there's again. A big controversy on Reddit this week. A whole bunch of med students and doctors had a big thread going on about how there were so many other options that they could have used instead of literally a fatal surgery for Ellie.
Oh, so, with all their supplies.
I know.
And testing equipment and everything that, just like they could probably do like IVF and stuff, right? With come on.
Good point. Hey, Byron Roberts, good to have you. Yeah, so I had to laugh at that because, again,
I'm probably
this is the plot.
You know what? I'm sure they probably could if it was built a modern day society with all the medical,
the facilities, everything.
Facilities.
That's what I'm thinking. No, I get it. Yeah,
if they had all that, but basically they were doing surgery on this poor kid in a rundown hospital that was covered with like dirt and dust and everything. So even if they were to start cutting and tearing, she probably wouldn't have survived anyway because she would have had infections. So
I'd like to get Chuck Peoples. I've had Chuck on a couple times. He's our buddy from Appalachia that's also done third world medicine and stuff. I'd love to get his thoughts, especially on this episode. It'd be interesting to see. But so Marlene tells him, hey, we're basically going to kill Ellie. And Joel, I don't know if he says no, but he says, I want to see Ellie. Right. And she basically says, fuck off. Tells her men to escort him out of town, to give him his bag back and tell him not to come back. And then we have the slow walk down the stairs, remember?
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that because Joel reminds me a bit of Rick Grimes as Rick is getting attitude,
Well, when he started not giving a shit anymore.
He's like, guess what? My last fuck, I left it on the side of the road when you hit me in the back of the head.
Exactly.
So here we go.
And it's not coming back. Right?
And you can see him flicking the old switch too. He goes from easygoing Joel. They're walking down the steps and you can see him as he's going. He's like, he's paying attention to the signs that say where pediatric surgery is. And then he just stops for a minute, like almost cocky. It doesn't come across as cocky, but confident, I guess.
Well, it came to the point, well, I'm either going to shoot them or they're going to shoot me.
Right.
So,
and then they push him and he keeps walking, almost like he's contemplating in his head, should I do it or shouldn't I? And damn well it's going to be, I should.
Yeah.
Because I've played the video game, but I mean, he is just a hard ass motherfucker. There's no getting around it. And so about the third time when he finally pauses, that's the end. Those two guys didn't stand a chance. I'm not sure how he was able to do it so fast, but he did. Killed one guy basically instantly, shot the other guy, and then shot him again. So at that point, he has some sort of scabbed together rifle and a handgun, I believe. And then the next 20 minutes is just hell on earth in the hospital as Joel rains down and literally executes every last motherfucking one of them, as in the words of the opening scene of Pulp Fiction. So,
well, it's the same with when then he gets in there with the doctor. And
the doctor.
The doctor said something, and then he's like, "That's not what I meant." And then he shoots him in the face or something.
I mean, it's crazy. I guess you would have to be that way to survive 20 years in this post-apocalyptic, wasteland. But what I put in here is at one point Joel goes 100% John Wick. That's the only way to explain it. Because now, okay, we're going to talk about some of the Rotten Tomatoes scores. This was actually the lowest one, which isn't saying much. It was an 88. Which is still good, but there was 4 critics who had something to say about it. Neither here nor there. But one guy said that Joel had the biggest pile of plot armor they've ever seen, where he could not be shot or hurt. Now, I don't get that mindset, because here's the deal. You have 2 characters that you're going to follow along, right? You know that Joel is going to save Ellie, right? So this isn't a video game. It's not like Joel gets multiple lives, right? Where he gets to respawn every time, like I did 1,000 times until I beat the level. So he has to survive. Okay, could you have given him a wing, like a little, a nick on the arm? Sure, but you knew he was gonna. Like once he made up his mind, there was no stopping him. So he parades through, starts shooting, and yeah, like they said, I don't know. These were Fireflies, so it's not like they were heavily trained soldiers, right?
Well, no, and we don't know what they were. Like they were, like they were taking Ellie's friend when they were like 18, right? So like
with almost zero training.
Yeah.
I mean, these are not battle hardened soldiers. No, I don't think, because
they're not army or anything like that.
The people who, what did she say? Marlene said they lost the 6 people that were staying with her as she went across the country ended up getting killed. So these are probably whatever they could scab together locally. And Joel he's trained an assassin at this point, 20 years of killing people. And he just one after another, the guys open up, and Joel is a conserver of ammo. Let's put it that way. I loved it because at one point, there's 5 or 6 guys and they just open up and just lay into the wall. Joel's behind both concealment and cover. Steps out, headshot, headshot, headshot. Oh, I mean, it looks like he's been playing Call of Duty on Xbox for way too long. But the dude knows what he's doing. He also knows that he's going to make every shot count.
Mm-hmm.
And he does. And he continues to kill and kill and kill. And it has that video game feel again, right? It has that headshot, headshot, headshot. Oh, shit, I'm out of ammo. Grab this guy's gun. And one thing that kind of pissed me off was he left so many guns sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, he killed, who knows, 20, 30 people, and only once or twice did he ever pick up a gun. My ass would have picked up, I'd have had a rifle over either shoulder and some handguns because...
You can't move as quick, though, when you got all that.
No, but an extra rifle's not going to slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
And an extra handgun in the back of your pants not going to slow you down because by the time he gets to the doctor, all he has is a handgun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, was that the coldest blood thing he did when he shot the doctor straight in the head? I don't know. It was pretty...
I think Marlene was.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So he walks in, Ellie's on the table, sedated.
I can't remember what the doctor said.
It wasn't much.
No, it's like, get out of here or something. Or
basically, it's
that's
going to
not
happen.
what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he kind of stands there with a scalpel, and Joel doesn't hesitate. He gives him about 3 words. And I have to say, that has probably been one of my most favorite aspects of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever you watch these shows, anything, they let them fucking talk and talk. Joel never does it,
Mm-hmm.
Even back to the episode where he's coming out of his infection and the guy's like, I told you, and Joel's like, I believe you, and then kills him. Like there's no letting the bad guy or the other person banter on. It's just execute him and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the kid that he killed that said, here's my knife. It's a good knife. Joel's like, yeah, okay. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Byron says, at least, strip the ammo from the bad guy's guns because I'm guessing, even though, I don't know, if somebody else who has a better idea of what's going on, I'm guessing most of those are 5.56 because I'm thinking pretty much everything they have has been scavenged or, gotten from the military at one point or another. So I'm hoping that most of those, the ammo could be in, I don't know. Anyway, but I just felt like he left a lot on the floor. Mm-hmm. So whatever. Executes the doctor, tells the nurses to patch up Ellie. We're leaving. And then he picks up Ellie, and this is from the video game as well. And that was sad too. He's like, I'm going to carry, and he picks her up and carries her out. And he carries her out, and you're like, your hands are full, dude. What are you going to do if you get stopped? But he killed everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Except for when he gets to the garage and finds a car with a working battery, right?
Well, they had it hooked up.
Right, a charger. Yeah,
they had it hooked up to a charger, yeah.
So what happens at that point?
Well, that's when Marlene comes out.
Yes.
And she's basically telling him that, like, she's trying to convince him.
She's like, it's not too late. Just like,
it's not too late. We can forget everything you just did here.
I don't think you realize I just shot the doctor in the head is probably what he's thinking, but that's just me.
Yeah, But like, she's just like, she was trying to convince him to basically let them kill Ellie and do it, right?
In other words, let's do it. And I was sitting there watching him, and you can see, so he's got his hands under her, but you can't see his hands. Mm-hmm. Joel doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I think he had
the gun in his hand.
Oh, he absolutely did. Yeah, it's like...
and her gown was covered.
Deadwood. You remember on Deadwood? Mm-hmm. Ian McShane, the saloon owner, he'd always have a gun under his table when people would come in, and you knew. You see him there, you can't see his hands, there's a gun pointing at her. And she's, yep. And then Joel's like, gut shot her, right? Because he wouldn't be able to shoot her in the head from where he had the gun, but he shot her right in the stomach. And once again, he walks over to her, and she's like, Joel, don't. And he shoots her in the head.
No, she goes, don't do this. We can fix it. Or don't kill me. And then he goes, you're just gonna come after her anyway. And then he shoots her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I love it. I can't help it. The big crux of this show and the game was always what Joel did. Was it right? Was it wrong? And we're going to talk a little bit more because in a minute, Ellie wakes up in the back seat of a car. Mm-hmm. And Joel... I think
they had been driving for a little while.
Oh, yeah, they had been. Because they're out of ways. And Joel lies to her. 100% lies. Mm-hmm. Tells her the place was overrun by marauders. They killed everybody. But before they did, Marlene told me there was others like you. We've been doing testing. It's helpless. There was no sense in it. And barely get you out by the skin of my teeth, just you and me. That's what he tells her. And I mean, whatever you have to tell somebody to sleep at night, right? I get it, but...
Well, I don't know why he just didn't tell her the truth. Because I don't know if Ellie actually thought that they were going to kill her. You know what I mean? Like,
but being a 14-year-old girl like she is, I think she would have been pissed that he took the choice out of her hands, right?
Yeah, but But
at the same time, Marlene never gave Ellie a choice.
No, and I don't think they actually explained it to her. Hey, we're going to put you underneath here. Like, because like if he had took Ellie aside and said, listen, this is what was going to happen. It wasn't something that they were just going to put you under and then put a big needle in your head and remove it.
Right.
They were actually going to kill you.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think if he had actually took the time and explained it to her, I think she probably would have had a different outlook on it.
I'm going to say that would have been the best choice.
Yeah.
I think he made an absolute critical error there. And I'm going to guess, I have not played the second game. I'm going to guess that has a lot to do with what happens in the second game. I'm thinking the lies and everything. Aaron says, I agree. He never would have been able to settle it if he thought she would run. I think, yeah. Talking about Marlene, you think, or about Ellie here? Just clarify a little, Aaron. She said, I agree. He would never be able to settle if he thought she would run. Oh, maybe talking about Joel and Ellie, I'm guessing, maybe. But yeah. So it's I don't know. So what do you think? Did he do the right thing? Did he do the wrong thing? Well,
I think he would have told her. I think he should have told her.
So one more thing. Yeah. So this is an episode of book endings, and they did a great job. So the episode opens with them walking in the woods and Joel confessing that he almost shot himself in the head. The show ends with them walking in the woods, Ellie talking and confessing that she had to kill her girlfriend, which was neat. And then, so she shares the deepest, darkest secret she's ever had, that she feels that she had, and then looks Joel in the eye and says, tell me everything you said was the truth. And he lies again. You know, she gave him one more out. He didn't even hesitate. He's like, no, it was true. 100%. So he has to live with that, whatever happens over the next few years.
And I think, okay, he should have told her the truth, for example.
I think Aaron's right about that she wouldn't actually be able to hear him say the truth. She would just be a bitchy bitch and take, Yeah,
exactly. But I think the problem, too, is that, I think he thought lying like that, there was nobody left.
Right. Yeah, really, it would never come back and
exactly.
Him, right?
Like, who's going to come back and say, hey, guess what? He lied, right?
It'll be interesting to find out how she ever
Although he didn't kill the nurses.
That's true. Yeah. So, look at you. Yeah. You've already wrote episode or season 2, right? So, So he says that, that it didn't happen, that it happened just the way he said.
But it kind of left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it did.
I told you.
A little bit. I mean,
no, it was.
Okay. I don't think you can call that a cliffhanger.
No, but I still think it should have been a longer episode. It should have had more.
I agree. But I also think that it was a perfect ending to the season, because that's what you have to do. You have to give, they did great. They give us closure. You know, they ended the journey of Ellie and Joel, but they also opened it up to, here's the next chapter, right? Yeah. And it can go anywhere from here. That's what I think, but so it was bookended really well. Like I said, the first of the episode opened with that. Now, something else I didn't know.
Yeah, at least it wasn't like a cliffhanger
Well, like
you don't know who's like the phone ringing on The Walking Dead, or
say this. How about Joel walking into the operating room, the doctor coming at him with the scalpel, Joel raising the gun, and it fades to black. Right?
Yeah, I know.
That would be fucking awful. That's what I can say. Yeah. So
yeah, it wasn't enough to like really piss you off, but it was enough that you're just like, it should have been a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. And that was probably the biggest complaint from everyone online was that the show felt rushed. Aaron says, I feel like it was enough of a cliffhanger, but I don't want to throw the TV out the window. Yes. Yeah. It was none of that who shot JR or who shot Mr. Burns. You know, it was...
Well, you remember when The Walking Dead did that in the prison, that phone ringing?
Yeah, but it was stupid because there was no payoff. It was so cheap.
Oh, I know.
Or how about Glenn getting his guts ripped out, and then the next time Oh, no,
got
I
underneath
rolled
the-
under a dumpster.
Yeah.
No, The
Yeah.
Walking Dead was horrible with that. And
Mhm.
or how about, and again, another one was with the governor. We assumed we were going to get resolution of the governor storyline, and they're like, hey, no, we're going to go another half season with him.
Well, and they did it with Sons of Anarchy too.
Kurt Sutter's a great writer, but he needs a good editor, and he needs somebody to check him in, because
but they did the same type of cliffhangers, right? But
so here was a really cool Easter egg thing that I found out doing some research for this episode. So the first episode's title was When You Are Lost in the Darkness. That's the first half of the motto of the Fireflies. And last night, or episode 9's title was Look for the Light, the second half of the motto of the Fireflies. I thought that was cool. So you take episode 1 and episode 9, and you get When You're Lost in the Darkness, Look for the Light. I thought that was pretty cool. So let's see what we had here. So yeah, I asked you, but let's talk. So do you think were Joel's actions justified, what he did? Like going and killing everybody? Are you okay with that? Yeah, I was too. I think we're in agreement that the only problem was the lying to Ellie. Should he have told her, you think? I think
he
so.
should have,
Yeah.
Or like maybe he will tell her when they get to Tommy's.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, because like Aaron said too, like maybe he was worried if he had told her the truth in the truck, like she would have done something stupid, like opened the back of the door and jumped out of the truck or something, right? But maybe he'll eventually tell her.
Maybe. We'll see.
I
think he will. So after we get through the Rotten Tomato scores, I want to take a few minutes and maybe predict where we think they're going to go with it, because we really don't know. But
I've read a couple articles. So.
It sounds like 2 more seasons, right? Is that what they're implying?
I only got the 1 season, but
right. Oh, yeah, because they I've read interviews that said volume 2 of the video game is going to be multiple seasons. They've said it's going to be 2, so which I think is implied 2, because they don't want to go more than 4 or 5. Yeah. So Erin says she forgot about that with Glenn. Yeah, that was one of the worst fake outs ever. Oh, hey, Autumn Dawn, good to have you. She said Joel already lost one daughter. He wasn't going to let Ellie sacrifice herself. I can see that. And Erin says, I think he was still reeling with how much care he found for Ellie too. It was like a sudden realization. That's true. He really wasn't in a place to act completely rationally, even at the best of times. But in this, it was worse, right? So every episode we've gone and we've looked at the Rotten Tomato scores, and we've pulled out the rotten reviewers. There was one episode that didn't have it. There was, I think, there was maybe a couple that had 2 rotten reviews, but that was the maximum. This one had 4. So the score was 88% out of 100. So if you don't know, for those of you out there aren't familiar with the Rotten Tomatoes algorithm or whatever, basically what they do is they look at the review and they say, is it positive or is it negative? And then they put all the positives in one column, all the negatives in the other, and that's how they figure it out. So out of 34 critics, 4 gave it a rotten scoring. The first one was from somebody we haven't heard from, and his Ben Dole from the Times in the UK. His review was behind a paywall, so I couldn't get it, but they do give you a snippet of what he said, and it said, this was a show that at its best tests and exposes the limits of goodness and love in all its characters. As a moral dilemma, though, I'm not sure this finale or final one really worked. So I guess he's kind of not happy with the morality of the final episode.
Like because of the killing?
Yeah, like he's like, I don't think it's a moral choice. I don't know. I think it's a great moral choice because...
Well, you know what I bet you he's saying is that the moral choice of Joel not letting them do that to Ellie to the point where that it could save humanity. But the problem is they don't know if that was going to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so they were going to like basically sacrifice her on the pretense that it might work.
So let's throw this out there. This is like the baby Hitler, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how everybody always says, if you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler to save the world, would you do it? Everybody says yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what we're going to say. If you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler, but baby Hitler was your baby, would you do it? That's a whole nother scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to kill your kid? Most people wouldn't.
And the simple fact of like, would you go back and shoot a baby?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Right. Not just to, yeah, exactly. And Aaron, this is a really good point I never thought about. She said the moral today, the morale today versus morale 20 years into what they've lived through. And that's a good point, because you know what? Maybe Joel doesn't care about humanity at this point, because he probably figures it's fucked, Well,
and I don't think he does. I think he's at that point now where he's accepted Ellie.
Right.
So now all he cares about is the fact of basically living his life out as a surrogate dad,
as a
with
sheep,
his daughter.
as a sheep farmer, and he gets her to space, right? But
absolutely, as his daughter, and that's basically all he cares about. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else.
That's a good one, Aaron. I never thought of that all the way along, but that is the problem with every one of these reviewers shitting on the morality of the episodes, because they take it from a modern day morality, our present morality, but they don't take into account all of the negative morality that would have came about from 20 years of living through this, right?
Well, but if you even put it into our
world today,
like say tomorrow shit hit the fan,
right?
There's going to be no morality.
Everyone's
going to be out for themselves. Everyone's going to be worried about their families, what's important to them, and basically they're going to hunker down into their area, and they're not going to give a shit about anybody else.
That's a good point.
And there's no morality when it comes to survival.
No,
you do what you got to do,
and that is, again, I like to liken it to the first season of The Walking Dead, Shane versus Rick, right? Yeah. Shane says anything goes. Rick says, "Oh no, there's a line," right?
There's no line.
No, it's interesting because I've been binge reading Atlas Shrugged, which is a pretty dense 64-hour audiobook, and it deals with morality a ton, and it talks about things. And
you don't want to be rude or anything, but these type of peoples that are worried about morality, they're going to be the first ones to go.
Oh yeah, they'll be zombie fodder through
exactly, because they'll be the ones that are always worried about what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, because they'll be like, they'll be the Hollywood types that they probably don't have any way to protect themselves anyway. So, but don't worry, the government will come. I promise.
Yes, the government saves everybody.
Byron says the shit hits the fan would probably change the Pope's morals. Yeah, what, for the better? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Aaron agreed with whatever you said there, honey.
Yeah, so, it is true. There's no such thing as morality when you're trying to survive. No. And
the only morality is keeping you, and that's what Joel said. And you know what? Geez, I never thought of that. That is the only guiding principle that Joel has, is to look out for and help those he cares about. Remember, he said they had that conversation before, so this should be no surprise to anyone that Joel's only morality is to look out for his family and to help them along. And that's it, 100%. And that's what he did.
Yeah, and that's what anybody does in that type of situation.
Yeah, interesting. So our buddy, do you remember him? Randy Dinkovich from Tilt Magazine. It's not really Dinkovich, it's Dankovich, but he's a dink. So
yeah, well, he's got a
with
the show.
Yeah, he has I don't know, some sort of Freudian love or mislove for this show, because he turns everything into sex.
He secretly likes it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But again, I didn't bother reading the whole thing. I just brought up his little clip here. But it said, brilliantly performed and flawlessly produced. I agree. So far, we're, 5 words in, and I agree with him. Excellent. Look for the light. Okay, we're 9 words in. I'm still good. Oh, darn it. Here we go. Is held back by its reductive inflexibility, embracing an ethos of unforgiving brutality as a substitute for a truly honest, complex reflection on its characters and humanity. God damn, that guy. Why use a 5-cent word when a 25-cent word will suffice?
For some reason, this guy has really, really high expectations of Joel.
He does. He has a hard-on for complex morality when
they have said several times, I love Joel. I do. But to be honest, the type of person he is, he's a piece of shit.
Sure.
Right? And why does he think that he is some sort of hierarchy of a person that should be acting better than what he actually is?
Aaron says, is he watching the same show? I think he is, but I think he is watching it through some weird lens that he thinks
maybe he's got a crush on Daddy Pedro.
It could be.
And he doesn't want him to be a bad guy. He wants him to be a really good guy.
Well,
right? I don't know. Like,
it is tough because I've brought this guy on but every single
reach out to him and come on for an interview.
Jesus,
I'm curious what he'd be about.
But it's frustrating because his problem with the show is what the show is.
Well, he thinks that it's all like, are we all supposed to like hold hands and sing Kumbaya around a fire and
I'm not
and all
sure.
be friends and everyone is supposed to be the best buddies and they're all supposed to like get along and everything? Like,
yeah, that's true. That's a good point, Autumn Dawn. She says he likes Pollyanna heroes instead of anti-heroes. And I mean, Joel is a bad person.
He is.
But I wouldn't. Okay, so here's what I wanted to. If anybody out there has also watched Breaking Bad, okay, you could call Walter White an anti-hero, but I would say, okay, I think Walter White was more evil than Joel was. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because Walter, when it came down to it, the only thing at the end was power and greed for him.
But he wasn't at the beginning.
No,
and just like Joel wasn't at the beginning, but I think it was different type of circumstances. Like Walter purposely went that way because that's what he was deep down inside.
Sure. Yes.
Where Joel was kind of left with the whole, he didn't have a choice.
And Joel is a protector.
Yeah.
And everything he does comes out of that. And
and he's a survivor. Like he's surviving in a post-apocalyptic world where Walter he got a little taste of money
and power,
and then his just grew with greed, right? And that's basically,
and that's and that to me tells you that was in there to begin with because
it was deep down inside. He just needed to feed it a little bit,
right? And when it did, that's what came out. And
you hate to say it, but I think there's a lot of people out there that are like that.
Oh, sure, yeah,
you get that you don't think you have it, and you've got that down in there, and all of a sudden you just feed it a little bits of tidbits at the time, and then all of a sudden that monster grows, and that greed monster is there.
Because if you look back on Joel, and I mean, you might say we only got 9 episodes with him, but we got 20 years with Joel. Mm-hmm. If you look back on who Joel was before the collapse happened, he was a man who protected his daughter and did things outside of societal norm, even at that time, to look out for her.
Well, see, and that's the thing, though. You don't really know what type of person he was before it happened either. Like, because honestly, it kind of implied that
he's a bit of a blue collar.
Well, he was, but it kind of implied that Tommy was too, because
Tommy was a degenerate for sure.
Exactly. So I bet you Joel probably was too.
Yeah.
And like maybe he kind of settled down a little bit because he had Sarah, but he might have just been a degenerate his entire life. Because like Tommy,
he was a contractor.
He was thrown in jail all the time, and Joel, and his response was, "Oh, again." You know, like,
there it is.
You got to be thrown in jail, right?
As Autumn Dawn says, bailed out his brother again. Yeah, it's true.
But how many times has Joel been in jail?
Right.
And, like, you don't know, right?
And I'm guessing when he was younger, he did the same damn mistakes. Mm-hmm. You know, did they ever mention what happened to their parents? No. They seem like, maybe they grew up without parents. You know, I had that kind of
maybe. Well, and I think Joel was
his dad.
Considerably older. Yeah. But like it just but like you don't know what type of person Joel was.
Right.
And it never implies what happened to Sarah's mother. Right?
No,
like
that's
it never,
true too. Yeah.
Like maybe she saddled her with Joel because Joel was a piece of garbage. And she wouldn't
That's a good point.
Nothing to do with him, right? Like,
and again, here we are. We're back to shades of gray. But I'm gonna maybe I'm just recency biased here, but I'm gonna say that what Joel does, even though around him, great people can be awful people at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. But Joel's underlying motivation all the way through was to protect the people that he cared about, plain and simple, the whole way through. Whereas somebody like Walter White, I don't think that was his motivation. And if it was, it got lost somewhere along the way, right? Mm-hmm. Because at least at first he justified it to himself that, hey, I'm making this money for my family. But it didn't take very long for him to, give out his speech, like where he was ready to kill, he'd kill anybody who got in the way. I mean, he literally ended up putting what did he do? He flipped Jesse's girlfriend over so that she, aspirated on her vomit, right?
Yeah.
So there was that. So, okay. Last, we got 2 more here. Lorraine Alley. I forgot to write down what magazine she wrote for. She said, "This may sound ridiculous, given the propensity of streamers to stretch a 2-hour story into a 10-part saga." I think this will stick with you, baby. But he said, "The Last of Us is the exceptional production that needed more room to land." So basically, she's saying that streaming takes a 2-hour story, turns it into 10 hours. Mm-hmm. This was the one time that the show needed more time. What do you think of that? You felt that way.
Well, even last episode.
Right.
It's like I said last week there, it's like, this one wasn't horrible because it touched back on previous characters, but up until this, it feels like a sitcom-y.
Yeah,
like it's a
in
new
and
character,
out, in and out. Yep.
It's like they introduce a new, just like what you said when they showed Ellie's mother. The first words, you're like, oh man, another new character.
Yeah,
like they just keep introducing all these characters, but weird. It's only one episode.
Yeah,
right. And
that's true.
And but they kind of went back to Marlene and stuff, which kind of helped a little bit, but it's too rushed, and it like they need to like, but you don't want to drag it out either, right?
Well, I'm gonna say that if nothing else, the directors and showrunners didn't want the show to overstay its welcome, and they succeeded at that.
But you have a great story, tell it. Right?
Yeah, and it really could have stood for.
12 episodes, maybe
12, 15 episodes. Yeah, 12 for sure. I think 3 more would have,
And they could have still left this episode for the last one.
Oh, absolutely.
But they could have enhanced the other episodes.
They could have let the world breathe a little more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because again, it did have that same. I'm going to say if I have one. Okay, 2 things. First, I'm going to say Ellie's acting did get better as the season went on.
Yeah,
she's not perfect.
I'm still not a huge fan.
No, I know, but she did come into her own. She improved immensely over the season. I'll give her that. But my biggest criticism of the entire first season would be the pacing suffered from the same problems that the final season of the Game of Thrones did. Mm-hmm. They got to the point where they're like, okay, we need to finish the story, so we are going to take massive leaps in time without really filling it in. And it felt unnatural. That's all. And that's what this felt like too. This felt like a bit like World War Z when you read the book. So the book is just a whole bunch of captured stories that take place during the apocalypse. And that's what made the movie so hard to, how he was like, hey, let's go from here to here to here to here. That's kind of what this felt like, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's go from Boston to Kansas to Wyoming to Colorado to wherever they ended up. And each week we're in a new locale, right? And,
well, they could have did more of on the road, right? And not every... Yeah. And that's one thing that pisses me off about these shows is that not every episode has to be a gunfight.
Right.
Not every episode has to be a bad guy. Like they don't have to do that every episode, right?
I would have been 100% happy having an entire episode of Joel and Ellie sitting in that little S10 Chevy driving and talking.
Well, that or do survival episode or like basically they're just walking around. Like not everything has to be chaos and
right
and a catastrophe where they have to fight for.
It's like they just they took it and all the high points, they cut them off and pushed them together.
Yeah,
and I get it. That's okay.
And that's okay, but they could have dragged it out a little bit more.
But one of my I wouldn't say favorite, but one of my go-to YouTube movie reviewers is The Critical Drinker. If anybody else watches him, he's really great because he's anti-woke and he has a lot of fun with this stuff. But he recognizes good storytelling when he sees it. And he talked a lot about this show as well. And he said that he's played the video game, and the video game takes about 25 hours to complete. So you have about 25 hours of storytelling that you turned into 6 or 7 hours of TV time. And that's what made it feel a bit rushed because the video game, what makes the video game work is how full-fleshed the environment and story is and how you take time to really care for the characters. And would you say maybe that's one of the problems too, is that we have these characters that we want to care about, but they just don't give us enough time with them? I mean, they do, but it would be nice to have more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can basically...
Well, I don't care about any of the other guys, but it's like...
what I mean by character, I just mean Ellie and Joel. We didn't get even enough time with them. Because you have... So we have 9 episodes on average about 45 minutes or so. I have to look it up for sure. But so you've got 6 hours of TV, and an hour and a half of that, 2 episodes were side character episodes. I guess we got Ellie was in one, but I mean, so we had about 5 hours with, about 4 hours of Joel and Ellie together. And that's what I mean.
Like, you only get, but the problem is that you only get Joel and Ellie in the episodes together when there is chaos,
right,
or gunfights, or one of them's getting stabbed, or one of them's getting shot at. You know, like, they don't have to do that every episode. Like,
no, it's true.
Because, like, you know, like, as much as it is post-apocalyptic, but I guarantee real life is not like that.
No,
like, even when you are in surviving, I guarantee every day you don't wake up and think, okay, what sitcom am I going to go out and shoot today? You know what I mean? Like, it's...
I don't make very many memes, but I made one at the beginning of COVID, and it was a picture of the governor when he was eating those SpaghettiOs, and the quote was, "Nobody ever told me the end of the world was going to be this boring."
Right?
But it's true, because that's like, really what it is, you know, what do they say?
It's not boring if you go out looking for the problems, right? Like,
but I'm sure it's like an EMS or whatever, 95% of their job is pure and utter boredom, and 5% is pure insanity. But if you watch this, you would think that 95% was insanity and 5% was boredom.
Just like ER doctors.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's sore throats and diarrhea and throwing up. Every once in a while they get...
Right. Autumn says some days they'll just be hiding from a storm and being hungry. Yeah, I agree. Which one, Aaron? How is that not a patch yet? Oh, damn it. I said something good and I didn't even catch it. Type it out for me, Aaron.
And the world be this boring.
Oh, yes, it will be. All right. It'll be a patch. There you go. Patch. Boring. Okay. I won't forget now. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, but like I said, I don't make many memes. I share a hell of a lot, but I only made 1 or 2. So
with a can of SpaghettiOs. There you go.
Yeah, it will be. That's exactly it. I love it. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, that's great.
Charlotte had SpaghettiOs for supper.
She did, because I mentioned the goddamn things the other night.
And then she comes down to the pantry and gets one. And she goes, "I don't think I like these."
And it's simply because I mentioned them in the prepping presentation I did at the library, and subliminally I got her to eat those damn SpaghettiOs because they've been in there forever, right?
Yeah, I don't even remember where we got them from.
I think they're stuff that Olivia had left over when she moved home from the city.
No, I bought them. Okay. I think I bought them from the dollar store.
Aaron says, "Why is Aaron asking for a boring patch?" Yeah. So last one from Rotten Tomatoes, Sam Adams from Slate, not Sam Adams the beer, but Sam Adams from Slate magazine. And this was the plot armor thing. Joel ducks behind a wall as a hail of bullets throw up clouds of dust, then pops up and takes out enemy after enemy with one clean shot. For a show that has emphasized its gritty realism at every turn, one whose hero was previously almost killed and stabbed with a broken baseball bat, Joel's sudden invulnerability is a disastrous step into fantasy logic, where the steeliness of his resolve makes him impossible to defeat. Okay. So like, that's my answer. So I don't care. Like, all I want to see is this badass motherfucker walking through and mowing down guys, because what else do you want him to do? You don't want to end the episode with Joel bullet ridden, full of infection, and hanging out in a rail yard, right? Because we're not going to do that. We need strong Joel who comes to the rescue. That's how is that a problem? Like, I friggin' love Commando. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. But,
well, I maybe he's kind of getting to the point where he doesn't want it to be constantly like that. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yes.
And like, and I get it. Like, it's not logical and everything like that. But I just hope it's not going to be a constant, repetitive thing.
Sure.
Like again, like The Walking Dead, right?
It sounds to me like they don't want to outstay their welcome. So it sounds like this is going to be about 3 seasons and done.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I am, especially without giving whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. But you know what though? From what I've read, I was just reading a story about it the other night, because they were talking about Ellie Bella Ramsey not coming back for 2nd season.
Right. But she is.
But as far as I know, she is. Because 2nd season, she's supposed to be 19, which she technically is 19 now.
Yeah.
But,
well, that'll work then. Yep.
So, but they said that they know what the video game is. but the producers and the writers want to write their own show.
Hmm.
So I don't know what that implies. I don't know if it, like, I don't know. Like, I can't, I think, I know they have to follow the video game. Well, they don't have
They
to
don't
follow.
have to do
They don't
anything.
have to.
No.
But I think there's going to be
But-
a lot of pissed off people if they don't kill Joel.
But Neil Druckmann, who, okay, so real quick, guys, if you don't want to know what happens in the second video game, leave now. So you've been warned.
Mm-hmm.
So in the second video game, Joel gets bludgeoned to death by a golf club by a transgender. Just the way it is. That's that's the story. Some big muscular woman who is Ellie's friend or something. I don't know. And she beats him to death.
Idea.
It is been the, I mean, it's been the epitome of so many memes I've seen over the last few years. So that's the story. That's what happens almost at the opening of the video game. So Joel basically has no part in the second video game. Now, the first video game was 100% universally loved by all fans. When game 2 came out, it was, I don't even know what to call it, 50% loved and 50% hated. Now, of course, Neil Druckmann, the writer of the video game,
I'm trying to find the story.
no, it's
that I
fine.
had.
He says he doesn't care. He wrote the story and he stands behind it. That's his prerogative as a creator. It just sucks that they killed off such a loving character. Now, here's the thing. How much time jump was there? 10 years between the two video games, baby? Or no, 5 years, I guess, right?
It'd be 5 years because Ellie was 14. Now she's 19.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 years. So that will put Joel in his mid-60s, right?
Mhm.
He's, or no, what did he say? He was 57?
57. So
He'd be
early
62.
60s.
Yeah. So, in that day and age, the heart of life he's lived, he's going to be in rough shape by the time he's 62, I'm going to say. So where do they go with it? I don't know. I would love to see them have Joel around. The problem is I don't think they're going to, because they stuck so close to the storyline of volume 1 of game 1. So I think I don't know. I'm not looking forward to a show that is led by Bella Ramsey.
No.
She did better, but she just isn't perfect. And again, a lot of the YouTuber reviews that I watched, that was the same thing they said. She got better as the season went on, but she doesn't have much of an emotional range. And
And she's not talented enough to carry a whole show.
no, Joel's great. Ellie is a great background or secondary character, I think.
I wonder if they're going to turn around and kill Ellie.
Well, that would be an interesting flip.
Mm-hmm.
It'll never happen.
No,
And
it'll never happen.
You know why it won't happen? Because that would go against modern sensibilities.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, no, I'm just going to say it. It would. It absolutely would go against things that are important to most people who create media now. So that won't happen. But maybe they'll keep Joel alive for a little bit longer.
I think they will. Because I can't find the story. It was on Facebook, and it said something about Bella Ramsey was gonna she wasn't sure if she wanted to come back for season 2, but
Okay.
they're basically not giving her a choice. But they're but with that's where they come to the line where they said that it's our story and we're going to write it the way we want to write it.
Right.
So maybe they won't. I don't know. Yeah, right here.
Okay.
This is the story.
Yeah. So Bella Ramsey is 100% confirmed. Here, let's bring this up. We can share it. There we go.
Yeah, so that they're not recasting her.
Joe, good to have you, Know Your Joe. I just spoiled. The Rumble stream just died, guys. Sorry about that, but that happens. Yeah, whatever. Rumble's been a little bit hokey lately. Know Your Joe said, I hope I did miss the spoilers. I'm way behind on the show. Yeah, I just spoiled the second video game. I hate to. But it's been out for
right?
It's been out for 5 years. So
Yeah.
Dragon Slayer says, I hope they don't kill Joel off. That would be stupid. He's the only one we want to see, and that's what it comes down to. So we'll see. So here's the article. Bella Ramsey 100% confirmed to not be recast, which you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, so it's
While it's strongly heavily implied, The Last of Us didn't want to make it official until after the finale. We know Ellie survives. Ramsey, previously had celebrated news of the show's renewal. Okay. We're extremely lucky to have Bella, and the only way we would ever consider recasting Bella is if she said, I don't want to work with you guys anymore. And even then, we're not sure we would grant her that.
Yeah.
We might force her to come back this season. Okay. Ramsey says, there's no limits for me. They can do as many games as they like, as many series they like, and I'll be here flying back to Canada. That's cool. The debate among a subset of fans has been that Ramsey looked too young to play an aged-up Ellie, who cares, who will be 5 years older, and that Ramsey wouldn't be able to pull off Ellie's extreme violence. She can do violence. That's no problem. Both of these arguments have never made sense. Ramsey's already 19. Yeah, okay. See what we can find here. Second, the show will be put even more of a burden on Ramsey moving forward as she takes on an even larger role opposite her foil, Abby, who is yet to be cast. I don't know if it says any more about that. The show has been working, set up Ellie's propensity for violence even more than the games, I'd argue. Yeah, so when it comes down to it, whether, good to have you there, Dragon Slayer. Got to run, carry my 90. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, say hello for me. That's cool. Good man. Aaron. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. To be returning as Ellie next season. So when it comes down to it, I think they're going to follow the storyline fairly closely. We might get 3 episodes with Joel instead of 1. But
you know what? And then they're going to see their
cash cow is going to dry up.
Well, they're going to see their ratings plummet.
Sure, I think so. And for the record, so you know, the ratings were incredible. Mm-hmm. They increased every week until the Super Bowl week, and then they had a dip, and then they went up again. And the finale had twice the amount of viewers the premiere had.
Well, and they had this story on Facebook, and you know when you not Forbes,
sure,
but you know how they post it and then they have like all the comments.
Yeah,
and they had it on there, and it had 27,000 comments or something like that. And sometimes I'll just
scroll through and see.
I'd say the first 300 or 400 comments were they were not going to watch it if Bella was the only character left.
But that's because.
And everyone was hoping that they were going to kill her off.
I know.
Because they just...
That's because the entire world is racist and white supremacist. I mean...
No.
No,
it's
that's
because
what it is.
She can't act.
No, it has nothing to do with her acting. It has to do with the fact that they're discriminating against her. You know that.
Because she's non-binary, right?
That's what it is. It's not because she's a shitty actor. No, that... You know... Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Like she is what she is, but she can't carry a show.
No, she can't. Maybe she'll take some acting lessons.
And that doesn't matter.
I know it.
You either have it or you don't.
You're right. I mean, what did Tom Hanks say? He said that the new generation of actors cut their teeth on Colgate commercials, and he learned on Broadway or something like that. So, yeah, it's true.
No, you either have it or you don't. And honestly, she's annoying, and she's got one of those annoying voices, and she like. And not to be mean, but she has a very punchable face, you know, like just like
I agree.
Like I don't know. She's just one of those people that like if you were to like, I don't know, if you're in a bar with a couple drinks and you just like, you know, you'd want to walk up and give her a good punch, you know.
It reminds me of Ellen Page.
Yeah.
They both had that similar look. Neither very they had a very limited range. Mm-hmm. Although I should say Ellen Page is probably a better actress than Bella, whatever. Yeah, so
she was okay in Juno.
Yeah,
I liked her.
And
in Juno,
you know what? You know another movie I really liked her in? Was it called The Forest? Remember?
Yeah, she was good in that one.
That was her, and who was the girl? Another
Rachel Evans.
Rachel Evans. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen that film, that's a great film. Mm-hmm. It's post-apocalyptic. They're sisters, but less than Woodsy sisters.
Oh yeah, it's Elliot Page now. It's not Ellen Page.
I know. Yeah. So, I know. When it comes down to it, though, it was a great film. So they're 2 daughters. Their father dies. They're in the woods in a home where they have to look out for themselves, and they basically have to learn how to live off the land. And the house is falling down around them, and it's a great film. I really liked it.
No, I liked it. I've watched it a couple times.
Yeah, it's a good, quiet post-apocalyptic film.
And that's the thing with Ellen/Elliot. She could carry a movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's pretty good.
Yeah,
or he's pretty good now. But like even in the X-Men movies, I didn't have a problem with her.
Yeah, she was probably better in that than Jennifer Lawrence was.
Right. But that new movie with Jennifer Lawrence, everyone's saying that it looks so good. I don't.
And only one of them got their start on Trailer Park Boys, and it wasn't Jennifer Lawrence. So, yeah.
No, I think like Ellen/Elliot, she can carry a movie as long as it's the right role.
Right.
But the only things that I've seen Bella in would be Game of Thrones,
Right.
which,
And
again, she was an annoying little kid that had a punchable face, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but it's just like, I don't know. I couldn't. She just, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
It just, there's not very many child actors that I actually like.
Like, I'm sure she's
carry a movie.
I'm sure she's a great woman. I have
nothing against her personally. She's
It's
just not
she's a shitty actor.
Exactly.
You know? And I'm sure some people say, that Tim has an awful punchable face and he's a really shitty
well, you got a
podcaster.
punchable face
I do have a
sometimes.
punchable face. And
Sometimes,
that's fine. But they don't hate me because I'm beautiful. They hate me because I'm a shitty podcaster. That's all.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Well,
You're allowed to do what you want.
I just hope that, like, and the problem is it's like she's not a kid anymore.
No.
So either you have it or you don't. And I hope, she invests her money wisely. And
absolutely.
it's probably going to be, I don't imagine they're going to be beating down her door with more roles. And
I still say that the one who played Sarah would have been a much better Ellie.
I agree.
Yeah, I think she was a great actress. She comes from, and again, she has,
Well,
but
she's
whatever. She has the genes for it, and she's grown up around acting. And
yeah, well, either you have it or you don't, right? And
I have to say,
and I'm just, and you don't want to judge anybody, but I don't know.
I was in favor of Bella's casting too. So here's the deal, because when they said, okay, who it is, I thought back to her in Game of Thrones. I thought, shit, she's a great actress. And
then you go back and watch it, and you're like, "Oh my god,
she
no,
wasn't."
She's not.
Yeah, but she was just a kid, right? You know. So, but the thing is, everybody before the show started were saying she doesn't look like Ellie. I don't care what you look like, I was watching a review on the Mario Brothers show, the very first movie,
Yeah.
and it was kind of cool. And they based John Leguizamo and I can't remember who played Mario, but they didn't really
Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, Bob Hoskins. That's right. Bob kind of looked like Mario, but John Leguizamo did not look like Luigi. But they played the parts and they embodied the character. That's all that matters. You don't have to look like a character you expect. You just need to be able to play the emotional role.
No, and it's like, you can go to like the DC and the Marvel characters.
Sure.
Right? Like, for example, how many Spider-Mans have we had? And I don't
17.
care. Like, you can go back and you could be a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You could be Andrew Garfield one, but I don't even care. Tom Holland was made for that part.
Yeah, he was.
He is
because
Spider-Man.
he looks like he's perpetually 14.
Well, but
the
way he talks and the way he acts.
Hey guys,
he was made.
And
for
he's
that
right,
part.
right, skinny and flexible. I think was he a dancer or a gymnast? Yeah, that shows, and he's perfect because when you see some of the behind the scenes stuff that he did, like he's a contortionist, right?
But if you watch Tobey Maguire,
right,
and then you watch Tom Holland, you're like, oh my god, no.
But at the time, I thought
Tom Holland.
Yeah, but I thought, I guess that was the way with Batman too, right? Because at first Michael Keaton was we're going to forget about George Clooney, but Michael Keaton was an incredible Batman.
Yeah,
and then we're like, oh.
But then you get Ben Affleck, and we had reservations about Ben Affleck. Remember, we were I don't know, I know, and then you go see it, and you're like, holy shit, that was really good.
But
right?
here's the thing: we had Michael Keaton, and we thought, well, it can't get any better than Michael Keaton, who has to turn his shoulders when he talks.
And then you get Christian
Bale, who is fucking incredible, like an Oscar. I think he's an Oscar-winning actor, isn't he? If he hasn't, he deserves one. He's been nominated. Yeah. So an Oscar caliber actor who played Batman in a friggin' Christopher Nolan trilogy, and he was incredible. Didn't think we could top it, and then what do we get? Friggin' Ben Affleck, who I thought was incredible.
I thought
actually think he was probably the best Batman because, as everybody said, he played Bruce Wayne better than he played Batman.
Yes.
But then, Robert Pattinson, again, he's a fucking incredible. He brings something totally different.
But he's from a different universe.
Right. Sure, and that's fine.
But then you get, and it's the same thing as...
let's do the Joker.
The Joker. Well, no, go back to Superman.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You have Christopher Reeve,
who
absolutely was Superman.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
Was.
And then all of a sudden, then you get all these little shitty ones.
You had Brendan Routh in Superman Returns, who was absolute dog shit.
And then you get Henry Cavill, and you're just like, holy shit, this guy is Superman.
Yeah.
And when you look at him and the way he carries himself and the way he acts, the first place that my mind goes is to the comics.
Yep.
Because
absolutely, he carries himself like the comics.
He looks like the comics.
And
he talks like how you think Superman should talk. And then of course, when you go to Wonder Woman,
Yep.
Gail Gadot, same thing.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
Like,
yeah.
Then you go back to like Linda Carter, and you're like,
She doesn't really look like Wonder Woman, does she?
No, but then when you get Gail Gadot, when you see her, like, even though she's an idiot, but
she is good Wonder Woman.
She is Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Right.
She's built for it. You know, she had a little bit of muscle. I know she's skinny, but you know,
but she has the accent, and it's not fake.
It's the accent that makes her sound like Wonder Woman.
But when you look at her, your brain goes to the comics.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you're like, no, that is who it's supposed to be. And you can do it with the Avengers too. Chris Hemsworth is Thor.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter. Right. And then all the shitty Hulks.
You mean not Natalie Portman? Sorry.
And then you get the Hulks, and then you go to Mark Ruffalo, and you're like, no, he is the Hulk.
Right, because we went through 3 Hulks.
Edward Norton.
Who was before?
The British one, the one that played Henry VIII and the other blind girl.
Yeah, I know who you mean, but anyway, he was okay, but no, he wasn't good. But
he's not the Hulk. No.
Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk.
He is, and then it's like, and you just go back into your brain, and you're just kind of like.
I'll give her that.
When you see the movie, your brain goes to the comics when you were a kid.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Like, and it doesn't matter what you look like; it's how you embrace the character.
Yes,
right.
I agree.
And like, long story short, yeah, she doesn't look like the game, but Ellie's also a video game, right?
Right.
Right.
But she, so Autumn Dawn says, Devil's Advocate, Ellie grew up in the apocalypse. More people would grow to be numb to the world, and emotions are a liability. Not being able to share or express them might be a symptom of the environment. I can agree with you to an extent, but I can also say that at many times Ellie did show emotion. She just, the actress behind her wasn't very good at it.
Yeah.
You know, like the excitement. And I thought she was pretty good at when she let her little kid through. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think right back to the beginning a couple of times, but when she was walking through the water in that submerged hotel lobby and she got scared, you know, I thought she was really good at that. But
I haven't seen Autumn on here. Is this the first?
I think this is the first time Autumn's been on on this live stream.
I was gonna just a little fill in. I'm not a huge fan of child actors.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, so that's.
Don't hate us for it.
Don't hate us for it. I'm actually really, really hard on them.
It's pretty rare. Who would you say some of the best kid actors are that you've enjoyed? I mean, I got to say Macaulay Culkin was pretty damn good.
I don't know. There are not very many, if there are any. I think they like, and of course I'm really, really sticky about allowing kids to carry the movies.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Hard. I guess that makes me a movie snob about it, but if I'm paying money to go see a movie, I don't want to see an 8-year-old carrying a movie.
I will say,
like, I just can't do it.
I think that as the years have gone on, kid actors have gotten better, and it's not their fault. They're kids, right? Mm-hmm. You know, so we don't hate on the kid.
Well, I'm not hating on them. No, I'm just not a fan.
Yeah, it takes you out of it. It is hard. Like,
I know they work hard, and I know they work just as many hours as the adult actors and everything, and I get that. And you know, unfortunately, you know, like, they're not compensated as well. But I don't hate on them. I don't know.
She's not wrong. Abigail Breslin did pretty good
in Signs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's so good in Signs.
But now, no,
I can't stand stayed her as a kid, right? So
this one I can't stand.
That's
from Wolverine.
Wolverine. Oh yeah. She wasn't very good. I'm just looking up. Looper has the best child actor performances of the last decade. Let's bring this up.
You know, actually, I think the one that.
So this is the one that played the X. What was the number? I can't remember. But anyway, X something or other. But I never. Yeah. So I don't know. Quazine Wallace and Hush. Don't know that one. Let's see what else we can find here for you. I would like to see Boyhood. That was a Richard Linklater film. It has Ethan Hawke in it, and it was filmed over 10 or 15 years. The boy grows up as the time goes on. Yeah, Abigail and Little Miss Sunshine. I've never seen Little Miss Sunshine, and I should see it at some point. But yes, I heard Boyhood is really good, and the kid grows up with it.
This one,
Blackcoat's daughter.
This
Kieran Shipka.
She's actually not horrible.
Okay. What else did she play in?
She plays the young Tanya Harding.
Oh, Oh,
And
yeah. I really like that
and she
movie. I know you
plays
didn't care for it.
she's in a lot of movies, this little one.
I don't know if it says what else.
Um
She played Mad Men as a kid. Okay. The Legend of Korra.
just bring up her name. She is in. I don't mind her, but again, I don't think she could carry a movie.
Right. What was her name?
Oh, Kieran something, I think.
Karen Shipka, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see, right here.
There she is. Yeah.
Okay.
And she plays the young Sabrina,
In what?
the teenage witch on
Okay.
Netflix there.
Okay. So she's played in Riverdale. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Chilling Adventures. So she plays Sabrina. Okay. She's been in Family Guy, which that doesn't matter, but yeah, she was Mad Men. She was Sally Draper, one of the daughters of Donna
and
Draper.
she plays like she's been in quite a few movies.
Carrier's Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was okay. No
Yeah.
worries. Yeah, she's our Tennessee neighbor. She's the one that went and took video and stuff for us down in Tennessee. Autumn Dawn.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh yeah. What about the new Wednesday Addams?
She's not a kid though.
No, she's
Jenna Ortega
18 or
is
20.
like I think she's like 21.
Is she that old now?
Yeah.
She's right here. See if they.
Yeah, she's not a kid. She looks like one.
Yeah, she does look like
but
a kid,
she's
poor
not.
thing. She's like Christina Ricci, they always let's see.
Yeah.
They like permanently look like kids until all of a sudden Christina Ricci. Yeah, they really down aged her, which is kind of
because she's
how old is she?
Well, she was in that movie X, and she was showing skin and everything. So I think she's like 21.
Wasn't she like topless in that?
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't know how old she is.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I like that movie.
And I have tried to watch.
She's 20. So she'll be 21 in September. So she's
I've
not
tried to
old, but...
watch Wednesday. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah. Charlotte. Did Charlotte like it?
No, she didn't.
Okay. Oh yeah. You know what? Jacob Tremblay wasn't heard. It wasn't that bad in The Room or Room.
I think that's the only thing I've liked him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Yeah. Never seen that one. Hunt for Wilder People. Never seen Pete's Dragon. Oh, yeah, she was good. She is good. Sophia as young Beverly Marsh. Wait, wasn't she in something else? That redhead?
Yeah, I don't.
She was from It. Yeah, that girl was good too. Mm-hmm. If you guys have never seen The Florida Project, I friggin' loved it. The only actor of any consequence in it was Willem Dafoe. The rest of the actors / actresses were unknowns. They basically were local people. The main actress was hired off Instagram, but these were people who grew up in the projects in Florida. So quote unquote project. So basically what it is, it takes place in this little hotel just outside of Disney. We drove by the area, remember? They're really shitty. They're like these rent by the month hotels. And it's just a great story about poverty. I know that's hard to say, but if you've never seen it, that was my favorite movie of 2017. So give it a shot. I really liked it. Erin says she can't get into Wednesday either.
Now I tried.
I much prefer Friday, Saturday, and Sunday myself.
Well,
so
I think a lot of it is
just
because what do you call it? The ones who play Morticia.
Oh yeah, they're a bad choice, aren't they?
Yeah, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, she hasn't done anything in like forever. Right?
She was never a great actress to begin with.
And the one who plays Gomez, I don't know who. He's in everything.
He's the Spanish guy. There.
I know,
yeah,
but I don't like him. But I don't know. I think it's because I can't get past Raul Julia.
Oh, he was so good.
He was Gomez, right? So.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I'll give you that. Yeah, Stranger Things has a lot of good. And I'm going to say that some.
But are they actually kids?
Well, they were when they started. Yeah. But I got to say, I think my favorite of the whole bunch is the redhead girl. I think she's the best actress. No,
or Sadie Sink.
Yeah, she got added.
I think she's in her. How old is she?
I don't know. Let's look it up. So, but she came on in season 2, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't. Okay, again, the girl who plays 11. I think she's a horrible actress. Do you know who I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So let's see.
I can't think of her name. Sadie Sink is the red. She's in the Whale with Brenda.
Oh, yeah. She's in everything now. So Stranger Things. Millie Bobby Brown. She doesn't. She was better when she was younger. Though, no, well, she's not more. I know. No. But remember, they all started as kids.
Yeah,
right?
but like the first couple seasons were okay.
Yeah.
But they,
So he's good. Finn Wolfhard. He's been good since the beginning. Everybody really liked him, I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Dustin's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see.
Well, I think these ones here, like, Joe Carey, for example.
Oh, yeah,
he's in his 30s.
Yeah. But
yeah, so like
Will Byers is let's see if we can find it here. So Will is let's see. Oh, 2004. So he's 18 right now. And yeah, I think you're right about Sadie Sink. Let's see if we can find. She's going to be further down because she didn't start right away, did she?
Yeah.
So like Phil, let's see. Finn Wolfhard was how old is he? He must be 2002. So he'd be 21. Yeah. Almost. He's getting there. So yeah, they've all grown up with the TV show, and some of them are good, some of them are okay. But yeah, let's just see right quick, because I always said she was my favorite actress of the bunch, but it's not saying much when you have to deal with the rest of them, right? So there she is. Oh, where did it go? Sadie Sink. All right, she plays Max. Yeah, she's been in 27 episodes, so maybe she didn't come in till like the 3rd season.
Yeah, so she's 21.
Yeah. Yep, she's 20. She'll be 21 right away. So yeah, she's about the same age as the rest of them. So yeah, but I don't know. Stranger Things is okay. They did well. They were good when they were
the
younger.
last season wasn't very good.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah,
it
was okay.
I loved them all. The mall season, that was great.
Yeah, but I'm committed, so I'll watch it. Oh, sure. But,
yeah. That's the difference between you and me. You'll hang on to a show even if it's turned real shitty, and I just give up on it.
Well, it's because same with The Walking Dead. I still can't get through that last season of Walking Dead.
Well,
I'm trying.
It was.
It is.
I give up about 5 seasons ago.
Well,
so
I think I'm on the new season that was just put on Netflix. Is that season 11 or 12? I'm trying. I have got through 3 episodes, and I can't do it.
Oh, it's just
I can't.
The show just went so down. I mean,
I am trying though.
Honestly, like I said, anybody out there a Dukes of Hazzard fan, because I loved the show as a kid, and I used to watch reruns on TNN, the Nashville Network, way back when. They would play them, and one day I turned it on, and Bo and Luke Duke were no longer there. They'd been replaced with Coy and Vance Duke. They were dollar store ripoffs of Bo and Luke Duke.
So I never watched the Dukes of
Here's
Hazzard.
the story. During the off season, during the whenever the show was off, John Schneider and Tom Wopat, the actors for both Bo and Luke Duke, decided they wanted more money. So they held out. The production played hardball and said, sorry, we're going to replace you. So all of a sudden, Bo and Luke Duke, their characters went off to race NASCAR. And the cousins that had never been mentioned before showed up to take their place. And it was pathetic.
Oh, man.
So there they were. And it lasted all of 3 or 4 episodes.
Well, and just like I seen them advertise the other, not too long, the spinoff for Daryl.
Oh, my God.
And he's going to France?
Yeah. Daryl's in France. Maggie and Negan are in New York City. But that's what I said.
Yeah, but at least New York City's more logical than France.
But nothing has made sense in The Walking Dead since about season 5.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
And that's what I was getting at was
and I know it's probably gonna break some people's hearts, but Norman Reedus is not a very good actor.
No, he's not.
Like he was good in was it Reservoir Dogs?
No,
Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints.
Yeah,
I hated that movie. I never figured out why people liked it.
I never really liked it. But he was good in it.
Yeah, sure.
Right, but I don't know. He just talks like this all the time.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why everybody had a hard on for him, but whatever. They're allowed to.
Well, I think he's just a giant greaseball.
Yeah.
But,
well, Mrs. Cook, I think we should wrap up our final episode of The Last of Us. This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. Every Friday night, I always get to, send you a text message at 6:45. Are you coming home from work? You freaking workaholic? Are you going to come over and enjoy it with me? So, but yeah, she that's what she does. She works hard and it worked out perfect. So we're finishing up episode 9. You only skipped out on 1 episode. You did pretty good. 8 out of 9 episodes. And you even finished up. And now you're going to fly out to London, England, and France and bring me back some crazy alcohol from over there and some French cheese, right?
Something. Cheese at least.
Yes.
Well, you got to look it up, make sure I can bring it back to customs. So
Aaron says, just saw that Bella Ramsey on Last of Us season 2. It will be a while. I think we'll probably shoot the end of this year, beginning of next. So it'll probably be the end of 2024. I'm guessing it'll probably launch about the same time in January. Yeah. So
just long enough for us to have to watch the first season because you'll forget.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Aaron says, thanks, Cooks. It's been fun. And Know Your Joe says, y'all have a great evening. Hope MRS. Looking forward to the next live stream. So tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing 10 side hustles you can start right now to start making money. And Sunday evening will be an interview with Andrea and Russ Snow from Snow Farms. Going to be a great talking about having a supportive significant other who helps you. So now Erin says she can cancel HBO for a while. So
unless you want to watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah. But hopefully you'll be back, Mrs. Cook, at some point. I'd love to have you back.
Well, I'll be back. Well, because we got to start our new the movie things.
Oh yes,
I love talking about movies.
It'll be fun to have you back. I'm going to miss you for 2 weeks. So
yeah, well, and then and then after that 2 weeks we're heading down to Tennessee.
Yes, we are. Can't wait. So, all right, folks, thank you for this journey. This has been a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to the next live stream.
Oh yeah. Oh, that one it came through twice.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it said when. Yeah. So Sunday evening. Typically, right now, since we've been crazy, we've been streaming Thursday through Sunday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Easiest way to remember it. And if you're in the Telegram group,
night, Aaron.
I am linking every single night. I'm going to pin about an hour before I go live, so there's a reminder. It's the best way to do it because YouTube's notifications have been shit lately. So, guys, thank you. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.